doing it. You supposed to be happy you sitting there with Kid L. Why you mad?
The Kid
My
L
boy
podcast.
Dion is back in the building yet again, man. How you doing today, bro?
My dog, man. I appreciate being back, man. I'm actually great.
Yeah, man. It's the last time you were here, a lot of people were very intrigued by your knowledge of Detroit history, the culture, and just your intellectualism. Obviously, man, you're a very, very bright guy.
Appreciate it.
And you're doing great things right now. You're producing films, man.
Yes.
Talk about these films that you've been producing.
So right now, my newest film I got out is called All the Shine. We just released it on Tubi. It actually got my homegirl Sierra Angelia in it. It got I produced it with my dog Dewan Ford. I think you know him too.
Yeah, he's been on here.
Came on. Yeah. So this is a movie we worked on with director Xavier Miles. And so this it's like a horror film with like a lot of drama and action in it. It's pretty dope. We shot it on the farm, actually one of the only horse farms left in the city of Detroit over on Joy Road. It's called the Buffalo Soldiers Horse Farm.
How much of it did you shoot there?
We shot the whole thing there.
Damn.
We utilized the whole field, the horses. We used some of the people who worked there, some of the Buffalo Soldiers. And it was dope, man. They welcomed us with open arms. They let us do whatever we need to do to get the shot. We shooting at like 1 a.m. sometimes with horses. Like, it was crazy getting to hang out with them, but it's dope, man.
This is the first film you produced?
No, actually, my first film I did was with my boy Darren Brown and my boy Starface. It was called Dimez. It's actually on Tubi right now. You can check it out. It's doing some numbers.
Okay, right. Yeah, that's right. So you go back. Let's get through the list of films that you have produced so far, man.
Oh, all right. So my first one was Dimez, Dymez. Then my second one was actually Melanin, but we put it through the film festival, and I did that with Darren Brown also, and it's been going crazy in the film festivals. We won a bunch of awards, and so now we just had CW. They got an app now. The CW network, they picked it up, so they supposed to be releasing around the 25th of this month or next month. We waiting on them to give us the official date, but yeah, they picked it up to produce it. Melanin was my second one, and then I just got All the Shine. We just dropped that on Tubi right now. Then I just did one with my boy Teddy Van Gogh called Corruption. So we got that coming out soon. We still looking for distribution, getting that together, so that's gonna be dope. Then I did one called Homeboy with my homegirl Sarita and my boy Darren. So we have produced that, and we got that coming out soon. That should be dropping.
So a few on the release already, and then a couple more that are about to release?
They all pending, man. Like most, I only got 2 out, one about to drop this month, and then about 6 more pending.
So talk about the role as a producer with these films. Like, what does the role entail for you specifically?
So with me, I jump from a different one. Like, I sometimes do some line producing where I help with the budget, getting it all together, making sure we got the crew, making sure everything work out, making sure we securing locations. That's one of the biggest things. A lot of people can't find locations film friendly, and me, I'm tapped in with the locations. I'm tapped in with other producers out here. I'm tapped in with other artists out here too, so it make it easier for us to say, oh, we want to book Jackpot or something, and I can reach out for them and whatnot. So the producer just help organize everything. So a lot of people just bring me on their projects and give me ownership so I can be able to help the project from pre-production to production to post-production to make sure it just goes seamless and smooth.
With all the Tubi films coming out and it really seeming like it's lucrative, a lot of people are obviously jumping to be a part of it and seeing what they can take out of it. Do you see that that there is a cash cow involved in it, or do you feel like that the art of filmmaking is still has to be applied in order to see success, even though it's going on Tubi?
You want to know something? At the beginning, it was just everybody dropping movies, let's get it. Now, it's a longevity game. Tubi ain't taking all the films no more. Like, a lot of people gonna see it in the next couple months, probably year or whatnot. A lot of people gonna fall off from it just because it's getting more stricter. So it's gonna force people to quantity ain't gonna be the thing anymore. Like right now, y'all seeing everybody talking about them and making fun of them because people ain't got the budgets. But now, like, it's really gonna be hard because only the people with the budgets who can get that quality of filming is gonna survive this. So you got to bring on real producers. You got to pay the people like scripties and whatnot to help organize. You got to get real casting directors, real wardrobe people. Like all of that's gonna make us just keep stepping our game up because Tubi not just taking whatever anymore. And there's a bunch of other apps that's like accepting these films, but we just got to step our quality up, which a lot of people are doing. I've been seeing these last couple films been coming out this year. It's been amazing.
Yeah, some people are taking it seriously, right? And some people, like you said, have just been mass producing films and they found a way to just make money off of just doing that. But you're saying that Tubi's restrictions are going to get a little bit more thinner. So now people are going to actually have to upgrade all this from everything from production to cast, maybe even actually paying real actors to be a part of it and all that stuff. So.
Hey, that's gonna be the biggest thing. You gotta pay people, and that's where, like, our team, we do real good at that. My boy Darren was telling me like we gotta make sure we paying everybody, even from the PAs to the at least giving people gas cards if they coming and whatnot. So we trying to keep that type of energy going, and then we trying to work with actors and giving them points because actors need to start having ownership in their projects. A lot of producers and executive producers don't want to do that because it take away from their bottom line. But if we don't start giving some of these big actors or people who pushing these films ownership in them, then you get what I'm saying, they gonna start falling off. They ain't gonna be able to survive. Like, you don't make money acting for real. It ain't really no, like, even if you behind the scenes and producing, people don't realize you might spend $60K to make a movie and only make like $80K back. Or maybe 100 and whatnot, but you still got to pay off that 60 of which you had spent and whatnot, and you only making a 20K profit that you split between 3 to 4 people.
That's why people were doing mass productions, is because they were like, I'm just gonna get, if I do 30 films this summer, which some people are telling me that they've been doing.
No, facts.
Even if you're making 30 or 40K and you just keep doubling it, then eventually you're gonna find some type of profit. But if you're just making 2 Tubi films and you're only making 20K profit, and then you're doing what you say, you're pretty much breaking even, damn near, right?
Yeah.
And now that they're restricting things more, now you're not going to be able to break back in because the restrictions are higher now to get involved in the Tubi film industry. Which I wonder if it's going to help them or hurt them, because part of the Tubi thing is to watch garbage-ass movies. Part of it is that. Like,
you know what? I can't say that because they've been having some straight ones. Like, you seen that Damon Wayans joint?
No, Damon Wayans dropped on Tubi?
Man, he dropped on Tubi, man. A lot of people is, dude.
I'm not saying all of them are. I'm just saying the fact that, like, some people did watch Tubi to watch those trash movies. So
so you
do wonder if, like, it's going to hurt their market a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But
I don't think so, because then you're going to start getting quality people if you start bringing in more quality projects and whatnot. Like, they starting this thing called Tubi Originals, where they paying people to be original films that, you know, like, I might create it and then they'll give me an original deal where they might buy out the film, give you like $175 or $200 for a film, and they outright own it and you don't get no residuals from it. So they will start doing that type of stuff, you know, where you ain't getting like your dollar a stream and whatnot. You'll be getting like a lump sum.
Talk a little bit about the process of starting a movie and the trials and errors of creating one, and also the positive things that come out of it at the end.
So the pre-production part is the biggest part that you got to get everything together. That's where you sit down you find out who you want producing, you figure out who you want directing, and then we start getting the team together from there. Because once you start talking with me, I start reaching out to my light people. I start reaching out to my sound. I usually use Tino. He one of the most known sound guys out there who, you know, everybody bring in. Then I tap in with a production company such as like Road Design, or you can tap in with Rodney and them. Like, it's a bunch of different production crews that you can just tap in with. So we'll bring them in where, you know, you pay them a percentage of the film, or you just pay them out and whatnot. So once you lock in your production crew, that come with your lights, you know, your gaffing and whatnot. You get your they sometimes come with PAs too, and so you get your whole little production crew with the camera and everything. They come in. Once you got that set, then we start setting up the shoot days. So then we start breaking down the script. I do the script breakdown where we see how many days it might take, because you only want to do about 8 to 13 pages a day, really that sweet number is 10 or 11 pages, and pages I mean like of the script and whatnot. Most scripts be like 80 to 90 pages for about an hour, so you got to break that down into days. So you say about 10 pages to 11 pages a day, and you gotta like stay on schedule to shoot each scene. And scenes, you mix them up. We don't go in order shooting the scenes. Like it ain't like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You shoot them by locations. Most people do it because you want to shoot out locations, because sometimes this location for the store might only be open on Mondays and we can't come there Friday. So you got to make sure the schedule makes sense to where, okay, now we got all that confirmed, and I confirm all the locations by talking with the owners and everything, making sure every day. And then you got to coordinate with the actors to see their schedule, because everybody work jobs out here. So now you jumping through, you got to just balance everything to where, okay, well, Tanya might not be open till Saturday, but we only get the liquor store Monday, so now we gotta switch her out with somebody else and whatnot, or see if she can come and we put the time back. And you just kind of managing that. Once you get the schedule together, then you have a production meeting. Then you got rehearsals where the ADs and them are doing that part of the production part. But as far as the producer, I'm staying on the outer rings of it, of just making sure we get to the production start date. And I'm talking with the production team, getting the AD involved, where he managing and running the whole production set. And we all doing this in still in pre-production. And once we get everything, like from 2 production meetings, make sure we got all our equipment, from props to sound, make sure we got our memory cards, because a lot of people, memory cards the biggest thing that'll mess up, burn out if you ain't got no backup one. People, like, it's just so much stuff that can happen with, electronics. And so once you get all that in order and make sure you got everything on your last production meeting, y'all should be going into production. Mm-hmm. And once you get into production, you running for those 8 to 9 days. And you can't go past it. You can finish before it, but that's usually impossible if, just the nature of filming. Some stuff you got to let breathe, some stuff you can't. But going past it usually costs you almost between $3,000 to like $7,000 a day.
Wow.
And people don't realize that, because you got to pay everybody extra. And most crews, if you got them, like, you set them in for like 8 days. And so anything extra is overtime, which is time and a half. So it's they rate and time and a half. You get what I'm saying? So now you paying them almost double what you was paying just for one day.
So that's why this last location that you guys used was so perfect, because it's just one location where you can take care of everything.
Come on, man. We was able to knock out everything there. Like, we didn't have to worry. We got to leave our equipment there, so we was able to just pop up, shoot it out, keep it moving. So we was able to stay on schedule, and we still actually had to add like extra hours on. It wasn't a day, but we had to add like 4 or 5 extra hours just to finish the shoot. That's how like heavy this material get and whatnot.
How many days was it total for this one?
This one was we did 10 days.
10 days. Okay.
Yeah,
and
my
what was
brother.
the plan? Like 9? 9 was the plan, and then you did 10?
9 was the plan, but 10 days, because technically we went over a little bit, and they still charge you no matter what. If it's an hour or 10 minutes, you still got to pay the full rate for production.
What are the biggest things that are like that get in the way, or some of the, like I said, trials and tribulations of getting a shoot done, that come up most frequently for you guys?
One of the biggest things is the city of Detroit. Just in general, like, you got people walking by, you got cars riding through, people see y'all filming, they want to stop by and be like, hey, what up? Can I be in y'all movie? And you're like, bro, we shooting the scene. Give us a say, like, come talk to us, bro. Come, like, stop. So you get a lot of that. And then a lot of times the locations, people who own these spots, they not film friendly a lot in a lot of the Airbnbs and everything. Like, we just got banned from a hotel we was filming in. They said that, we was too loud. So you can't really find, like, if you're looking for a hotel, where can you really find a fake hotel? I know DR2 Studios got a nice bunch of different sets, but you trying to look for unique stuff that other people ain't shot at and everything. So finding the locations that's film friendly is hard. I say those the biggest things, like the city of Detroit dealing with the people sometimes, because they, our people get excited out in Detroit, so they see something like, oh, this one of them Tubi movies, and then now they filming, and you gotta go tell them, like, hey, bro, like, can you not post that? We trying to keep it under wraps, and sometimes people cool with it, sometimes people not.
With the talent involved and everything, do you find it that you said earlier that it's hard for actors to make money off of just acting in Tubi films or in films in Detroit. Have you found anybody that found that range of success where they can make a living off of acting and just stay in Detroit and just make movies in Detroit?
Man, I know one chick right now. Her name Fancy. She just moved here from Houston. Been out here for 4 or 5 months, and all she do is film. She probably done did about 9, maybe 10 films, and it's probably more than that. Like since she been out here, and she literally hustle off the films. So it's another guy. I think his name Alfonso, and a couple Diesel. I don't know if you know
Yeah, I was
Diesel.
just talking
Diesel
to-
live off my homegirl Sierra, Angelia. She live off film. Like these people live straight off film. Don't do nothing else other than grind and work. Like you see Diesel out in Milwaukee. Sierra just came back from L.A. So a lot of these actors are getting out here, but these the ones that you see in all the films and tapped in. Like they working. They've been studying. They've been getting it in. I would say just for a newer person, or if you like halfway in, it kind of, it's hard to make real money because you're not getting as booked as much because you might not have the range that people looking for. I ain't gonna say talent because anybody can cultivate some talent, but a lot of people ain't got that range that people looking for. But you see people like Crystal the Doll, she go straight off acting.
Yeah, Crystal's killing it, man.
Yeah, she about to drop a joint. So you seeing a lot of people grind off this.
Yeah, it's like a circuit, right? There's a circuit of actors that their professionalism and their entertainment value plus the market that they bring in. They bring out an audience to the shows and stuff. So you got to just find this core group of artists and actors and actresses and bring them all together. And with something I think Dennis was saying, Dennis Reed was on here and he was talking about.
I like Dennis, yeah.
The people that show up is the most important people. The people that show up
No,
are always
facts.
going to be involved in every single film because that's what damn near matters at the end of the day. The people who are consistent. Because again, if you miss a day of shooting, you just cost a whole day of production cost for the entire place. Nobody wants that. You just cost us money. You're not going to work with us again.
Come on.
You got to be professional in this. And you got to be on your toes with it and really show up on time. So it sounds like with you, you're really orchestrating things. You're playing point guard, right? Making sure everything happens the way it's supposed to happen at the end of the day. How much time are you dedicating to creating films right now? Is it your full schedule, 7 days a week?
It's a full-time job, 7 days a week. Like, I do work my regular job too in the daytime. I'm a behavioral health specialist, so I still do that for the mayor's office. But I also do, as soon as I get off, it's straight film. But sometimes I might be sending texts when I go to the restroom or something, or like on the downtime when I got a break or something. But film is always like, as soon as I got off work, I'm working on a TV series with BZ Jones right now called Scripts, and that's gonna be coming out soon. It's gonna be dope series that we got coming. But we working on that. I've been talking with him all day because we filming from the 26th from the 16th to the 26th, and we trying to finish this the last 3 episodes we got of this series. So we just grinding this out and running. We just had Icewear Vezo come play a part of what was his name in our city? Kato. He played that in our series, and I like how music and film is kind of colliding a lot too. So you getting a lot of artists who getting into acting too.
Yes.
And I like they professional. Like I swear Vezo came on time. He was there ready to shoot, came in, killed this part, and he added on to the film. He was like, he had while we were shooting the scene, he was like, what if we did this? This is funny. I think this would be some dope Detroit. Like people gonna peep this and like this. Director was like, and which is BZ Jones, looked at it and was like, bro, that's it. And we locked that in and we ran with that. So like they bring their creativity from their realm over to our realm, and it just been working out so beautifully.
Do all rappers or do all entertainers cost, or do any of them just do their parts just to be a part of the film?
You want to know, son? Sometimes it's love, and sometimes, you got to put some cheese down on somebody or whatnot. You might give them some ownership, or you might give them some bread, but most of the time they look for some ownership in it, which I understand. If you got a major brand and whatnot, you get what I'm saying, that promotion just gonna be priceless anyway. So you want to put them a part of it so they can have their own thing and they be invested into the project to where now I'm gonna push it. Anywhere I'm going, I'm talking about it, I'm putting it on in here. I might show it in my music video, which I swear get millions of views for the last couple of music videos you've been doing.
Yeah, facts.
So yeah, it's just dope, man. You really gotta connect with them. So it's multiple avenues on like, if we can afford it, if we can't, then okay, can we give you ownership?
Yeah, I remember they were talking about the person who made the Lion King soundtrack, the original Lion King soundtrack, took a 1% royalty, and now he's just literally living on it for the rest of his life. So royalties or getting a percentage of the film is sometimes the way to go, right?
Bro, that's the only way I work.
Okay.
I don't do it. Only films I work on is the ones that I have a percentage on.
How do they prove percentages? Do they get a look at the accounting? How do you know? How does if a rapper was I want 0.1% of the whatever the film grosses? How do you guys prove to them how much the film even made?
So what you do before anything, you do a PowerPoint. It's a pitch deck. So a pitch deck is where you take everything, every avenue from the film, from the cover art to which actors you want to the budget, a brief budget breakdown, just showing what distribution you're looking for, what actors you want. You putting all this into different PowerPoints to where it show okay, our previous films made 60,000 or something like this. You add that, you get what I'm saying, if you got a little background or a resume, but if not, you just say this is our potential based off looking at other people movies who made a lower budget movie like this and whatnot. But if you got you did it, I got a couple projects, so we use some of those percentages from the money we make, and hey, it's better than, man, you double, almost triple your return. You get what I'm saying, doing this. So I've been eating good off of it. I ain't gonna even lie to you.
You said you're working at the mayor's office?
Yeah.
How'd you get married? How'd you get hired into working with the mayor?
Well, I used to, when I first came on your show, the first time I was working for a nonprofit through a program that the mayor created. And then so they got this other program, a co-response program, where they needed mental health specialists to go in and help out with a certain division inside the government, where we helping out some of the workers there, and we also dealing with people in the public. So it's a dope thing he's trying to do to help lower the casualties that law enforcement having with people who are mentally challenged or mentally going through it. Because a lot of us, we all one day away from having a bad day where it just take us to a whole different level. Everybody one situation away from, or one due date, or miss eviction and whatnot from acting a fool. So
yeah, I've been in that position before. I was in a position before where I had a friend that was going through a mental health crisis, and there had been a fake prop gun nearby, and the police had pulled up, and I was so lucky he didn't see the gun, but he ran outside telling the cops to shoot him, and all I was thinking is if he had grabbed that gun before he went out there, it would have been over for him.
No, that's facts.
And it's sometimes when you watch police confrontation videos, sometimes the police don't know how to handle a mental health crisis. Sometimes they're just there to all right, how do we stop this from happening? But they use excessive force, or they won't know how to communicate with the individual properly. I've seen so many videos of cops just lighting up people who are going through mental health crises. It's insane.
And that's why I like how the city of Detroit is changing that. So we got at the police department, they have a thing called CIT, Crisis Intervention Team, where they train their officers in mental health first aid, which I'm certified in also, where you dealing with situations, you learn de-escalation tools, and then you learn various tools to help deal with it, dealing with somebody going through a mental health crisis. There's certain things and tools that you can utilize. A lot of people, he just crazy. It's not that he crazy. We got to get away from that stigma of calling people crazy, because we literally all go through the same thing. Some of us can hide it a little bit better than the other ones, and the ones who can't hide it, we need people to where you asking, we asking each other, hey, how your mental health doing today? And we so scared around the topic of suicide, you telling somebody, bringing up killing yourself and whatnot, don't put the idea in somebody's head. Like that's a big stigma. Everybody like, well, if I talk about them killing themselves, they're gonna want to kill themselves. If they want to kill themselves, they're gonna kill themselves. That's just what it is. The idea already there. The thing we gotta start doing is opening up, making people feel more comfortable and not stigmatizing them, saying, oh well, you a crazy person and whatnot. Like therapy is real good and we really need it in our community heavy. And you seeing it, like we got a crisis line that people can call into and text into now. We got places like D-Win. D-Win has a 24-hour suicide prevention number that you can call, or crisis number that you can call and reach a crisis intervention officer at any time, to where you can talk to them. You can call into the police. If your son or daughter or your mom or dad or grandma having a mental breakdown at the house, you can call and request a CIT, a mental health team, to come out instead of police, which they come out in different colors, green shirts. They come out with a calmer attitude. Like it's a whole different approach. They not coming with their lights blazing or anything. They come out and they actually help de-escalate the situation, whether it's taking the person to the nearest mental hospital where they can get some help or get their meds recalibrated. Because a lot of times people start feeling good off their meds. Then it's like, well, I don't need these no more. But the thing that kept you stabilized is the meds. So, eventually you fall back into that same cycle. So we all just got to get versed. Like you can go online and get a free mental health first aid class or reach out to D-Win. They teach them to everybody. Like all schools should implement this because it's just going to save lives at the end of the day.
Yeah, so instead of calling the police when some of these things are happening, a circumstance where it's a mental health crisis, there's a hotline for that instead of calling the police, because it's almost like sometimes when people call the police for a fire department emergency, it's like you're calling not the wrong people, but you're calling people who are more specialized now when you have this hotline.
Yeah, and well, the main thing is you can still use 911. Everything, police, firefighters, all that run through the 911 call center.
Right, yep.
So you just got to make sure you requesting that. Don't call in saying, "Oh, he acting crazy. He got a gun. He doing this." Like he having a mental health breakdown. Like I know him. Like if you know that person, they don't act like that, and you see them acting out of the ordinary, make sure you state that. So like, hey, can we get a mental health team out here, CIT? Like you can request that, or you can request fire. You can request various things. Like if you stopped on the freeway and you run out of gas, you can call 911. They will send a courtesy patrol to give you a gallon of gas. They don't want people actually walking on the freeway. So when I see people walking on the freeway, I always tell them, like, you can call 911. Nobody think that you can call 911 for like some gas, but only on the freeway.
Only on the freeway?
Only on the freeway. Yeah. Don't stop on 7 Mile and start trying to call them because they're going to ride past you.
Yeah, I remember I ran out of gas one time and my only option was to get in this guy's freaking van. It was like one of those like seriously like abductors vans. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm getting into an abductor van. And he was Russian. It was the weirdest thing. He didn't even speak English. I was sitting there like, oh my God, this is the day I'm gonna die. This is crazy. Just because I ran out of gas. But that's interesting to know. You're right. 911 is for multiple emergencies. They're in, like, you know what I'm saying. And to address that initially with them, like, hey, somebody's going through a mental health crisis. Correct. That's important for information. Which hopefully I'll have Crime News in Detroit post that clip there so people are aware of that. So you're working. So you're working for the mayor in essence, and this is your department. Correct. And what are you seeing as far as development in helping Detroit in your particular area? Because people, I'm not saying I know what's going on in Detroit as far as going against therapy, but there is a stigma about therapy. So how are you making people feel more welcomed, or making people feel like it's okay to come see a therapist? You want to know where it come from? We do a lot of events now. Mental health events. You'll see D-Win doing a bunch of them. Even when you have like Mary Sheffield, when she do her block thing, D-Win was there. And our my old organization's community health course was there. Like you got various organizations implanted into like fun things that it look like it's just, oh well, we got Bouncy House here, you got Big Shine here, but you got organizations working into that inner working, where when the community come in, hey, we got this here, and you got people like Icewear Vezo who helping promote mental health. I seen Babyface Ray talking about mental health. Like you seeing a lot of artists bring up the word mental health, which I think is making people more comfortable with it. Like I live over on the west side, Davidson and Dexter, and you see a lot of changes coming over there. You don't see too many heavy crimes anymore. You see a lot of older
like whether like drug addicts, whether it's people who don't have homes and whatnot, you still see them still kind of lingering around there, but you starting to see a growth in the neighborhood, which I think in fact gonna touch the people that's living in the neighborhood. So it's just literally like the promo. That's why I like how Detroit utilized all its entertainment artists, whether it's actors and whatnot, to promote this mental health push that we got going on.
Yeah, because it's like a little bit of a lure in a positive way.
Facts.
You know, because at the end of the day, like you say, Babyface Ray is at this show, or he's doing an event, or he's going to be at this event, and you get there, and then they have all these stands where you can go learn and get some information, and then you know, you have the mayor, or you have Sheffield out there, and she's preaching and talking about these things, which is gaining awareness. And like you said, if it sucks that it has to be from somebody you present as cool for you to hear it, but sometimes that is the case. Like if I Swear Vezo's up there and everybody respects him and appreciates him, and he's from my city and he's done so much things in the city and he's so successful, then I'm going to listen to him. And when they're preaching mental health awareness, that is like the best possible message you can receive. Even for me, sometimes when I'm staring at these young artists and I'm seeing the indulgence of like drugs and recreationals and stuff, I'm almost like, there's already a deficit kind of going on, and an unfairness that's going on, and then you're adding drugs to the equation. It makes you less of a stable human, no matter what you want to say. I don't care what anybody's saying. Drugs do not make you more stable, and there is damn near no benefit to doing drugs. Like damn near no benefit. I can see marijuana use having some types of positive effects, but there is no benefits to taking lean or doing like, you know, obviously heroin, cocaine, smoking a over amount, you know, a surplus of weed, where you're just doing it just to get high at this point.
Become numb after a while.
Yeah, so it's like you're already feeling unbalanced, and then you add more unbalances to the situation. You're not going to become more balanced because you did it, and then you got drinking involved, and then you got your environment. So it's
you talking trauma right now. That's a coping skill that people utilize. You gotta think about it. All our music, from you get Future, who started around in that 09 era and whatnot, talking about how drugs like help me get past my problems. Like our rappers used to be our therapists. Think about it. It's called music therapy. It's a real thing, to where, you know, you listen to music all day and whatnot, and a lot of people listening to hip hop or drug addict music. It's gonna constantly make you want to do some drugs, and like, oh well, my mama pissing me off. I got a problem. Let me go ahead and drink a little bit, or let me go smoke this weed. We don't have any coping skills, and that's why, like I say, people need to tap in with these organizations like D-Win and them, because you'll find coping skills. Like I learned about grounding. One of the coping skills I do is grounding. When I'm feeling like overwhelmed, I take my shoes off and go put my feet in some grass.
Yeah.
And I relax, and I just let myself sit down, to where like, okay, cool, like, you know, I'm back, you know.
The guru that I pay attention to talks about grounding, and he says he's like your body is cousins with the earth, and it needs to have, you know, a reunion every now and then. So touching the earth, and there's scientific facts for why it's beneficial to humans. There's like a communication that happens between the earth and the human through some type of electro something. I don't know.
We all got electricity in our body.
So
like
it's like some type of like reunion with the body and the earth, which is important. We are from the earth. It's so funny. We wear shoes all the time, and then our homes separate us from the actual ground of the earth. So it's like we're never actually touching the earth. It's like our body is literally made of the same thing the earth is from. So you do need to be touching it. I touch trees all the time. I'll be like just touching a tree, holding onto a tree, and just like feeling in the tree. Like, all right, man, this is like, you feel like a easefulness when you do it. You know what I'm saying? So these are all important. You know, for me, you know, yoga, meditation, exercise, and healthy eating are all things to set the conditions for your body for you to live a balanced life. That's how I look at life. Like, if you set all of the conditions in order for you to live balanced, then you're going to live a more fruitful life. Like taking care of your mental health, obviously taking care of your physicality, and just doing the things that get you into the position to be able to do so. Like if you're drinking and doing drugs all the time and you're messing around, you're not going to be able to set the conditions for your body to be balanced. But if you're working out, you're exercising, you're working out your physical karma, then you're eating healthy, whatever's going inside of your system is having positive effects. And then on top of that, you know, you're getting your energy exerted by just using your energy and really staying focused and really staying alive in life. Then you're going to live a more balanced life, and you're going to be able to do the things that you really want to do with this life. Because you know how they always say, like, this body is the temple. And you move it. You are the pillars, and you move the temple. That is the truth. With all the distractions that happen in life, even though people use it as a positive thing, it does become, like you said earlier, a distraction of, you know, when we're listening to this music all the time, unfortunately, even though you're getting through the day by listening to this music, you're also distracting yourself from accomplishing things because you're so focused on this entertainment.
Come on.
At the end of the day, you're digesting information constantly from different angles, whether you're playing video games all day, listening to music all day, watching movies all day. You're really distracting yourself from what? Life. Actually living and actually being a part of life and just seeing life the way it is. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to therapy, I think a therapist's job is to break somebody to the source of who they really are and who they truly are and get that expression out of them. How long do you see that it takes when you get somebody, let's just use a resident, maybe even from Detroit, since you're so familiar with the area, obviously you grew up there. How long do you see it takes for somebody to start therapy and when you start seeing results of them starting to balance their life out?
I say it's to each his own, but let me go on a personal journey with you and whatnot about that. It took me, I say, about 2 to 3 months just to start seeing it in myself from starting it and just having, because a lot of times we use Facebook and Instagram and social media as our therapist, which, you know, sometimes you get negative results, sometimes you get positive results. But going to actual therapists and all I was doing was expressing myself, like, felt like I ain't had nobody to talk to, start talking to this therapist, and I started feeling relieved. Like I got this off my chest, like telling somebody else some personal stuff that you going through that's like deep to you and they not judging you or making you feel any type of way, whether it's positive or good. It feels like, I don't know, it's like a relief that I just got it out.
Yeah.
You see a lot of intellectuals, they talk to themselves because they didn't train themselves to where they can talk their idea out to themselves and respond accordingly to that idea. How you got a lot of us, we not cut like that to where we can express ourselves to ourselves. We just look crazy and you just not getting that answer you want. And so going to a therapist to be that person to where you can just drop a lot of this knowledge, that baggage off and whatnot and leave it there and keep moving. But one thing is always going to be with you that what I noticed was like it don't go away, but you just don't think about it as much. You learn skills to where I can drop it off as much. Like I might get depressed for like 2 seconds now. Before it was like 8 minutes. So you just incrementally working your way to like being healthy in your mind and whatnot, where you dropping some of the negative stuff off quicker than you used to. That's all it is. Like people think, oh, well, I ain't gonna never think about nothing negative. I'm only gonna be positive. You can't be positive all the time. Like, you get what I'm saying? It's all good. And ain't no such thing as good and bad. Everything like teaches us like
I don't believe in positive thinking. I believe in seeing life in its ultimate reality. Like what's actually happening in front of me is what's happening in front of me. But the trick is this: when you do have depressive thoughts, even if they are a reality, your job is to remain joyful even though these things are happening. So that's the trick to it all. It's like you don't want to go around saying like, well, even though this happened, there's a positive note to it. It's like, no, that's going to get you in big trouble eventually. Instead say, this happened, this hurts me a lot. Now that I've gone through this, I'm still going to try to remain joyful throughout the day or throughout the week or throughout the month. Obviously, everybody has to go through their grieving process. The physical body has to go through its grieving process. But you can remain joyful when you're ready to start remaining joyful through it. Instead of suffering the entire moment of something happening, the experience happening, you got to find a way to internally switch to stay joyful even though something bad is happening, instead of positive thinking, which is basically just lying about what the situation is. You know, you're just lying to yourself at that point.
You want to be a liar.
You can't, my whole family got killed, but I'm going to think positively about this positive murder. No, it's more like my family was murdered. I have to figure out a way to handle this internally. What's the best ways to handle it? What do I have to do to handle it? Whatever the situation might be, you have to figure that out within yourself. So I think it's awesome to hear that there's, you know, basically an organization is, it's not technically an organization, but the way that you guys are putting it out there is feels like there's a movement happening towards it, right?
Yup, it's actually called a co-response program, and you're seeing it in a lot of cities coming up to where you got mental health workers working inside various organizations of law enforcement, government, and they like mental health is becoming a big thing, and that's where like you see the chief of police, he pushing it, James White, he pushing it heavy. Mental health is real big on them and whatnot, and the mayor's pushing it. So when you got a city that's pushing mental health in the city of traumatized children, like, you know, that's most of all of us been kids at one point, and we all been traumatized, like growing up Detroit, whether it's, you know, gunshots every single night, whether you walking outside seeing your auntie Tissy rolled on the ground or something, or you just seeing your granddad being a drug addict and, you know, shooting up, or it's just so many traumatic events that we got in the city. So mental health has to be a focus for us to be able to get out of this rut that we were seeing. But you starting to see a change. Like, look at all these positive events. We ain't had too many shootings this summer. Like, I was looking at the crime index in the city of Detroit. Crime had actually went down almost 10%. And the main crime they focused on was our murders. Our murder rate went down like significantly over the last couple years. Like, people not even cheering that. Like, not too many people. We still see stuff. Of course, it's the city of Detroit, but you're not seeing that many people get killed anymore, which is a positive thing that you're seeing, because now we focusing on mental health, which is the underlying issue. Like, you see sometimes cops go through mental health issues and they be needing that release and whatnot. So that's one of the, you know, aspects of some of these programs to where we can get some of the cops some help and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure,
and
man.
Training on mental health.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because their job is just as stressful, and they're humans too, right?
Yeah. People like to separate it like, oh, fuck the police, but when somebody steal your car, or Pookie and them come from across the street and knock on your door and you scared, you gonna call the police. Like, we all need them. You like, it's law enforcement, it's law and order. Like, you gotta have, like, they only work hand in hand. You can't have order without law. Yeah. Some form of law. Even the natives had their own forms of law, whether it was, you know, sending you out and you can never come back, or killing you. So, you know, law and order always in every which way. So people be like, oh, well, they never used to. Yes, everybody had this and whatnot. Like, you can't just go around hurting people or doing things that, you know, the collective don't want you to do.
Yeah, and it does nothing for it doesn't benefit the future generations at all, which is one of the points I've been stuck on for a while, is that the sacrifice of what you need for success is ruining the future generations. And I hate to look at music when we say it, but you do kind of look at music like the types of lyrics and the type of influence being put out there is only beneficial to the artist himself, and it hurts the society and the community, because you're putting out images and context of self-destruction, basically, when you're talking about drugs and violence and certain activities. So it's almost like, who are you doing that for? It's only can be beneficial to yourself. And if you look at where music stands right now, as far as lyricism is concerned, and as far as context and substance and whatnot, it's also at its worst state. So it's like, all right, not only are we pushing a bad narrative, and not only pushing bad text and messages, but the music's also terrible. At least if the music was good and it was a bullshit message, I fuck with it. But like, goddamn, the music's bullshit and it's a bad message like that. Now we're talking crazy. And look, I'm not gonna say I'm an alcoholic, but I've been drinking since I was 14 years old. Okay, when I watch an actor or somebody I look up to drinking, it does make me go like, fuck it, my boy's drinking, I'm fucking drinking too. So I do get the influence of when lean got really prevalent, like when they were really pushing lean and everywhere. And now I'm seeing people I never expected to do lean or taking lean sips. And it's like, that stuff straight up, what is that, like heroin or something in there?
Man,
what is that in there? Like fucking
what's that, codeine? That's liquid. Yeah, that's basically like liquid heroin at the base of it.
Yeah. So we're looking at this, and then you're watching artists push it, and then the whole conversation comes about how, they push positive things, they push negative things, they push positive things, they push negative things. And you got to be, as a listener, a 14-year-old kid, like, well, which one do I listen to? Do I listen to the positive message about how I need to get my life together from this artist, or do I listen to him pushing these drugs in my face? So it's like a contradiction, and it's almost like, well, the rappers are like, well, we got to make our money, and this is how we sell. But have we tried a different way? Like, have you tried to not rap about that and see if the music still sells or not? I mean, we don't know.
And I will say, I can't put it all on the rappers either, because it come down to our parental guidelines too. Like, parents not being parents. Everybody want to be out here in these streets and whatnot now. Like, you see floods packed, and you see all these everybody out there not trying to be parents because everybody want to live their life. We kind of feel like we in end days, so parents almost tablet training their kids now, where you just throw tablet and some music or something in front of them, and then now you let this kid sit here and listen. Most of us back in the day, we didn't have tablets, or like, you had music, but you still had, like, we was outside. You know, we run around, you talking to OGs in the neighborhood, you learning about hustling, you learning about moving around, you learning various things. Like when you get to learning how to hustle in the hood, whether it's like raking leaves, cutting grass. Kids don't, I was looking for kids this whole summer to come cut some grass or something, or rake some leaves. Man, you couldn't find a kid out here doing any of that hustle, man. Me and my brothers, we used to be out there, man, shoveling snow. Every season we was able to make money because we jumping around hustling, and you learning how to move around, and you still hearing these songs, but we still moving around at this point. You ain't have it all in your ear. These kids, they can't get away from it.
Yeah.
You got it in your phone, you got it in your AirPods, you got it in your ears, you got it at the school, you got it like everywhere. So now it's just like, you know, where can you get a break at? Because when you go home, you tired of your parents, so now you're going to throw on music for the rest of the evening. And you just kind of stuck.
Well, that's what it is. It's entertainment is magnetizing, right? And then especially when, you know, just for say, it's not a negative thing at all that I'm saying this, but like T Grizzly plays Grand Theft Auto and he made a business out of it, and now other kids are like, okay, well, T Grizzly made a business out of it, I'm gonna make a business out of it, and some of them do find a way to make a business out of it, but then there's like the 99.9% that don't. But then it's like, well, at least they're not in the streets, at least they're not doing this, at least they're not doing that. But it's like, all right, but at the same time, they're not doing anything either, though. So it's almost like, make it, you know, just because you're avoiding life by doing something you think is positive doesn't mean that you're actually doing something positive. You're just avoiding doing something potentially worse.
Come on.
But you're also ruining the opportunity for maybe this kid is not going to go outside and do something stupid. Maybe he's going to go outside and do something beneficial. You never know, like you did. You went and cut grass and you went and find a way to become an entrepreneur at a young age. So it is like, I'm not going to lie. That's why I don't want kids, because I know I'm going to be a tablet dad. I am going to be a tablet dad. I'm not going to lie to you. Like if I have a kid, it's going to be like, all right, bro, my boy, listen, man, go. I got stuff to do. I want to live my life. I need you to go play your video games and get out of my face. So I'm not saying I'm judging anybody for it, but at the end of the day,
at least you know that.
Huh?
At least you know that.
No. The reality, the circumstances, that's why I'm not going to have kids, because I know I'm not going to raise them properly. Like I don't mind it. Forget it. Right? Well, I'm not going to have a kid just to have a kid, just because I'm expected to, or by accident, because having it by accident is just stupidity at the end of the day. Like if you're having, you're basically implanting consciousness into life. So when you do that, that's a humongous responsibility. So try not to do that by accident.
You're a little too old now to have accidents. Yeah. Shoot, once you get past that 31, 32, it's like you on purpose now.
I have friends that are 18, 19 having kids, and I'm like, Jesus. And he's like, oh, it's a mistake, bro. It's my bad. And I was like, man, you really got to like realize you just threw your life away, because a kid is an 18-year project minimum. So you're a kid raising a kid that's an 18-year project. You have your own project ahead of you. So now you're doing 2 projects at once. And not only that, everybody wants to experience life in the way they want to do it. And now you added this whole new boundary, this whole new complex that you have to pay attention to in order for it to prosper. And then once you start getting resentment towards it, you start living your life in a certain way, and then your life just becomes anger and hatred and annoyance, because the fact that you're not living how you want to live anymore.
Come on.
So having kids is like a big deal. A lot of my 18-year-old rapper friends need to get together. Dion, man, it's always a pleasure having you on, man. Do you have any projects you want to promote?
Yeah, I actually got a resource numbers I wanted to give. I don't know if you can zoom in on it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to give out to anybody who kind of struggling with mental health right now.
You can give it to me, and then I'll impose it in the scanner, and then I'll post it on the page. Okay,
perfect. Yeah, I'll put that. But right now, go check out my film Dimez on Tubi right now. Go check out my film All the Shine that just dropped. It got my homegirl Sierra Angelia, and she also in Dimez. So if you like her, you can watch 2 movies for one. And also check out Melanin, coming out October 25th. It's going to be on the CW, so I know y'all know what that is. It's going to be dope. And be on the lookout for our series Scripts by BZ Jones. That joint going to be dope. We got some of your favorite rappers in there and some of your favorite actors. So be on the lookout for those.
My boy Dion Shepherd, always a pleasure to have you on, man. It's been, you've come a long goddamn way, I'll say that. And people don't even know. We'll get you back on again to even break it down more, man. We're at Parallel Sun Studio, High Low Visuals, shooting these productions. We're out. Peace.